الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر
الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. It's 12:05, so I will stick to the clock, inshallah ta'ala, and try to wrap up the very many ideas that I want to share with you within 15 minutes. I was asked to speak to you today about the Quran, the call of the Quran versus blind faith, and the title in print actually had certain things that I personally have a problem with. It said things like a call to rationalism, and I have a problem with the term rationalism. In the course of my brief talk with you, I will explain that. But I want to start with something else. I want to start with a disturbing trend, at least to me, that is growing in the rhetoric and in what we think da'wah is. Inviting people to Islam, the act of da'wah, it's a common term. Probably many of you have heard khutbahs about the importance of giving da'wah and how it's the responsibility of the Muslims. That's something the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam left on our shoulders, and he made sure that we deliver this message to everyone far and wide. And so we as an ummah and even individually carry some load of representing and delivering the teachings of Islam to everyone we possibly can. And in that regard, we have engaged in very many activities in this country under that umbrella of what we call da'wah. But some of those activities and some lines of reasoning are they really are problematic, and I want to address that inshallah ta'ala in the course of this talk. What are some of the problems we need to identify and then address, inshallah. The first of them is that for a lot of us, da'wah is synonymous, inviting people to Islam is synonymous with debate, with going back and forth. A lot of young people here in their college get into it with an atheist, with a Christian, with a Jew, with a Hindu, with an agnost, and then they send me an email or see me at a conference and say, if a Christian guy tells you this, what are you supposed to say? Or I have an atheist friend and he said this, how do I shut him up? Give me one thing that's kind of like gonna own him, right? Now this line of thought where two people are engaged in this debate and each is trying to outdo the other is already problematic, and it stands in opposition to the very concept of invitation. The word da'wah in Arabic means invitation. You don't invite somebody to your house to argue with them or make them feel stupid or to show them how wrong they are. And if you do that when you invite people to your house, please don't invite me to your house. Okay? Because that's not what invitation is. It's an act of friendship. It's an act of courtesy. It's an act of warmth. And so Allah talks about the da'i in Surah Fussilat, and He even goes to the extreme where He says, فَإِذَا الَّذِي بَيْنَكَ وَبَيْنَهُ عَدَاوَةٌ كَأَنَّهُ وَلِيٌّ حَمِيمٌ. Even if between you and him there's animosity, the one making the call, the one talking to you is showing animosity, and you treat him like your most intimate friend. Now that's da'wah, that's the style of da'wah. And you and I should know something about debate. Nobody enters a debate to be convinced. No one. Everybody goes into a debate, side A and side B, the Muslim and the Christian and the Jew and the atheist and the Hindu, whoever they are. When they enter a debate, there's only one thing on their mind: crushing their opponent. That is all that's on their mind. And if they hear an argument that they don't have a response to, they will spend their entire mental energies not looking at the validity of what has just been said, but exhausting themselves into thinking, how can I undo what was just said? And even if he doesn't have an answer for you, he'll say, give me a couple of days, let me think about it, and come back with an answer. He's not going to accept, because it's become a contest of egos now, not of arguments. It's not about arguments. It's about making you feel like you've lost or making them feel like they've lost. Islam is not a contest. It's not a debate. It's not a sport. It's not the playoffs. Even though the Mavs have gone pretty far. Okay, I'm from Dallas. I can't help myself. The beer guy. Okay. Nasser, you're messing me up. Okay. Now, the other thing that's happened is we think that Islam is about proving to people that Islam is the truth through rational discussion. Like we want to hand them a pamphlet that says, hey, look, all these scientific miracles. Come on, Shahada time, let's go. You know? Why, you still not believing? All these miracles that have been listed in this pamphlet, we even printed it in color, man. Come on, what's taking you so long? The guy just came to eat pizza at the Islam Awareness Week, okay? He didn't come to convert to Islam. And that's not really da'wah anyway. I want to spend these last few minutes I have with you, exactly 6 of them, talking about one fundamental concept. One fundamental concept. And that is that the Prophet of Allah, the Messenger of Allah, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, started opening his mouth about the message of Islam at the age of 40. Allah could have made him a messenger much sooner. He could have had a lot more time on this planet delivering Allah's message. Allah knew how long he's going to live. He made the span of the mission of Islam 23 years. It could have been 43 years. He could have been a messenger at 20. He could have been a messenger at 18. At 15 even, I would argue. Even younger. He had excellent character from the very beginning. But what is it that's important in these 40 years? When we think about da'wah, we think of the 40th year onward. We think of that. But there's a foundation before you see the building. Those 40 years are foundation, and it's something that conversation is not happening in our call to the call of the Quran. And you know what that is? In one word, that is credibility. That is credibility. I was just having this conversation with some youth in the conference room. Meccans were not nice people. They were cheaters in business, killers, murderers. These were gangsters, thugs, mafia, you name it. They were up to it. These were not nice people. And for these not nice people to give a compliment is not easy. And for them to call the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam as-sadiq wal-amin. Every kid here from Sunday school knows this. He was the honest, the truthful, and the trustworthy. These titles were given to him by who? By disbelievers, by criminals, by vile people, by people who don't appreciate anything. They appreciated his honesty and his truthfulness, because they knew if there's anyone we can trust our stuff with, it's him. If there's anybody who's going to tell us really what happened, if he saw it, it's him. He can be trusted, he can be relied on. Allah established his credibility in society before he made him an ambassador to his perfect message. We learn from that da'wah is 2 things. It is a credible message from a credible person. It's 2 things. Nowadays, imagine this for a moment. All the people working in corporate America, Muslims working in corporate America, all the Muslim physicians, all the Muslim teachers, all the Muslim business owners, all the Muslim business partners, students, whatever capacity you fulfill. Can you imagine if we never opened our mouth about Islam and we operated as we operate right now, no change in our behavior? Do you think the society around us would describe us as truthful and honest before anything else? They wouldn't even know about our religion, but they would know one thing about us. We are true and we are honest no matter what. We can be relied upon. Is that the message we give with our character, with how we deal in business, with how we operate? And if not, we shouldn't be opening our mouth until that credibility is there. That is the first thing that was established. That is the first thing that was established. We just become empty rhetoric. I mean, and we have people that have no good business practices, that are unethical in their professional life. They show up 40 minutes late to work, and then they want to do da'wah to their coworker, who looks at their character first and says, man, you're being paid for the full time. You show up 40 minutes late, and you want to tell me about the perfect message of justice and accountability? You're not even accountable to the employer you can see. How can you tell me to be accountable to a master I can't even see? How can you talk to me about that? You have no credibility. This is a serious problem that we have to address. Credibility even within our families. Islam is an amazing message for families. But if our families are in turmoil, then what message are we giving to humanity? What is it? What are we talking about? If people over here can't talk to their in-laws, if you're having a problem with your wife, if your conversation with your dad lasts more than 5 minutes, it gets nasty, then what message of Islam are we delivering to anybody else? Let's look inside a little. Let's go back to the fundamentals. Is my time up? I have 2 minutes. I got to make this really one other point in these 2 minutes. Something that, I have to be selective because I had a lot more things to share, but I want to pick out a couple of things. And one of them is to the younger folks here that are engaged in some level of discussing Islam in whatever capacity. Please, please, please do me a favor. Never, ever lose your cool. No matter how obnoxious, how obscene, how offensive the language of those who you talk to is, you never respond with obscenity or with anger. Don't do it. Don't let them get under your skin. Do not do it. When you allow your emotions to take over in discussion, it is in and of itself proof that you ran out of reason. That what you have to talk about isn't based on anything else. That's what made you mad. Fir'aun gets angry at Musa. Musa doesn't get angry at Fir'aun. Musa alayhi salam keeps his cool. Musa alayhi salam is calm. Fir'aun's flipping out. He's going crazy. You dare talk to me like this? I'll put you in prison. You know, he's the one losing his cool. That's one major point I wanted to make before I let you go. And here's the second. And that is our religion is not just a call to reason. It's not. It's an injustice to the book of Allah. The Quran is the climax, as our beloved Sheikh Abdul Nasir said, and also Sheikh Walid also alluded to this in the discussion of body and soul. The Quran is a message, or is an infinite fountain of spiritual elevation. It's a very spiritual book. It cleanses what's in the hearts. And at the same time, it has an infinite source of intellectual wisdom. It is both of those things simultaneously. I don't know of any other book that does that. That is both spiritual and intellectual simultaneously. But this is Allah's book. الَّذِينَ يَذْكُرُونَ اللَّهَ قِيَامًا وَقُعُودًا وَعَلَى جُنُوبِهِمْ وَيَتَفَكَّرُونَ فِي خَلْقِ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ. On the one hand, those who remember Allah standing, sitting on all their sides. Remembering Allah, dhikr happens where? In the heart. وَيَتَفَكَّرُونَ فِي خَلْقِ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ. And they think deeply about the sky and the earth. They think about creation around them. That's happening here. Both the heart and the mind. They're both being addressed in this book. And it is a disservice to Allah's book when we present it in a way that is spiritually bankrupt. It is a disservice to the Quran that we present it purely in rational terms and do not respect its spiritual integrity. And at the same time, it is a disservice to Allah's book that we fall short of its intellectual integrity when we present its message. Don't be shallow when you speak about the Quran. Know what you're talking about. Ask a scholar. Understand its depth. The Quran, first and foremost, is a call to human decency. It's not something alien to people. Decency is native to all peoples. It's calling people back to their fitrah. It's something they already have. It's making them go back to the original. It is not something new. The rhetoric outside right now is Islam is something new. It comes from another place. It is evil. It is strange. It is not from us. And Allah is telling you this is something of your own. You're being asked to go back to what you originally are, to discover your genuine humanity, to become a decent human being once again. This rhetoric has to change. We have to bring it back to what it's supposed to be. We can't allow this rhetoric to invade, and we can't allow any remnant of it to enter into our own discourse. May Allah Azza wa Jal make us really become people of da'wah. May He make us people of credible character, that even if we don't open our mouth about Islam, we speak volumes about Islam from our character. That the way we deal with society, with our neighbors, with our families, with our co-workers and business partners, that in and of itself tells the people who these people's teacher is. It is Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Barakallahu li wa lakum. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.